Hello guys, welcome back to our anime explainer. Guys, please like the video and subscribe to my channel, thank you. Today is explanation of upcoming episode of Battle Through the Heavens based on novel. So let's start. Under the probing of Xiao Yan's spiritual perception, he could see that under the grey robe, there was the absence of the raging Do Chi that formed like the others. Instead, it was covered by an illusory aura. This kind of aura was not foreign to Xiao Yan, because it was spiritual strength. In other words, the old Ying Shan in the mountain forest below was not his actual body. Instead, it was an avatar agglomerated from his soul. No wonder this old fellow would leave the city in such a high-profile manner. It was actually a fake spiritual body. Now, the actual old Ying Shan might have long since taken the Bodhisattva body transformation saliva and left the Black Emperor city. This thought rushed through Xiao Yang's heart in a lightning-like manner. His expression gradually turned dark and solemn. Everyone here seemed to have been played by this old fellow. Although Xiao Yan did not know how old Ying Shan was actually able to use his spirit to form such a powerful fake body, a fake was ultimately a fake. Under the probing of Xiao Yan's spiritual perception, the latter had already been completely exposed to Xiao Yan's eyes. However, it was a little too late now. With that old fellow's speed, this short while gave him enough time to flee to a remote mountain forest in the Black Corner region. Given old Ying Shan's strength, if he were to hide his aura, it was likely that even an elite Dozun would not be able to find him in the vast mountains. What is it? What have you discovered? Xiao Yang's gloomy expression was swiftly sensed by Su Qian, the little fairy doctor, and the others beside him. All of them immediately asked in a soft surprised whisper, the old Ying Shan below is a fake. The Bodhisattva body transformation saliva is also not with him. Xiao Yang slowly exhaled and explained with a gloomy expression. These words of Xiao Yang was undoubtedly like thunder that shook everyone until they became stunned. It was a long while later before Su Qian took the lead in recovering. He frowned and said, a fake. Why is his aura so similar? This should be something created by old Ying Shan's spirit. We have underestimated his tactics. This unusual spiritual avatar is something that I have only seen for the first time. Other than my teacher, I'm afraid that he is the best person I have met who can manipulate his spiritual strength until such an extent. Xiao Yang slowly replied. His eyes coldly stared at old Ying Shan, who did not appear to panic despite being surrounded and attacked by so many people below. Using one's spirit to create an avatar. This kind of unique method to use spiritual strength was something that Xiao Yang had never seen. He had also never seen Yao Lao display this. Despite this, he was naturally aware that Yao Lao definitely far surpassed old Ying Shan when it came to the use of spiritual strength. After all, the renowned name of Yao Zunja, respectful name for a Dozun, did not come from nowhere. Dozun. That was a level that was even further and more frightening than a Dozong. At that level, one was already a top person on the continent. Their methods were far from what an elite Dozong could compare with, spiritual avatar. Su Qian and Thr little fairy doctor were stunned when they heard Xiao Yang's words. Although they were also elite Dozongs, the two of them admitted that they could not agglomerate their spirit into an avatar and allow it to possess quite a great amount of genuine strength. It was unexpected that old Ying Shan was actually able to reach such a level. What should we do now? Since this is a fake, it is likely that the real old Ying Shan would have left long ago. Xiao Li knit his brows and softly cursed, this old fellow is really crafty. He actually possessed such a tactic. Su Qian and the others ceased their conversations when they saw Xiao Yang shut his eyes. They could vaguely sense an invisible strength be emitted from Xiao Yang's body. It quietly spread through the sky like waves of water. The bloody mess in the mountain forest continued. Perhaps it was because of the yells of death that resounded over the place, but some factions, that had originally remained still, were unable to contain their eagerness anymore. During this period of time, there were even quite a number of experts who joined hands to approach old Ying Shan's body. However, they still ended up seriously wounded by the latter and were forced to retreat after spitting out blood. Xiao Yang, who had his eyes tightly shut, suddenly opened them while old Ying Shan and the few experts collided. Immediately, his eyes turned to the eastern direction. A vague spiritual fluctuation was transmitted from that area earlier. Have you found it? After looking in the direction Xiao Yang was staring in, Su Qian's heart tightened as he hurriedly asked. I have sensed something. That fellow is actually still nearby. Joy surged onto Xiao Yang's face. His eyes immediately swept over the spiritual avatar of old Ying Shan in the forest. He decisively said, "The little fairy doctor and Xiao Yang, follow me. First elder, all of you should keep watch over this place. I will leave some signs along the way. If you personally see this spiritual avatar disappear, you should immediately hurry over." "Just the three of you?" Su Qian frowned and asked after hearing his orders. "Mo Tianxing." Old Ying Shan's eyes immediately shrank a little as he looked at the human figures who had appeared. His voice was dark and cold as he asked, "What is sect leader Mo planning to do? Don't tell me that you wish to destroy the Black Emperor sect's reputation." "Ha ha, old demon Ying, you can forget about frightening me. What can one's reputation do in the Black Corner region? The people from the Black Corner region do not buy this." Mo Tianxing smiled and laughed. "How did you find me?" Old Ying Shan's expression slightly sank. He suddenly seemed to have thought of something and his eyes became densely cold. "You have done something to the Bodhisattva body transformation saliva. It is but just a little Do Qi imprint." Mo Tianxing faintly laughed. "Old demon Ying, don't delay for any more time. After using your spiritual avatar, your actual strength will have greatly diminished. With your current condition, you are no match for this ancestor, Do Zong. Therefore, hand over the Bodhisattva body transformation saliva to me. You will let the old me leave if I hand it over to you." Old Ying Shan replied with a cold smile. Mo Tianxing smiled and shook his head. He said, "Impossible. However, I can invite you to be a long-term guest at my Black Emperor sect." The corner of old Ying Shan's mouth slightly twitched when he heard this. A savageness immediately surfaced in his eyes as he ferociously laughed. "Mo Tianxing, even the condition of this old me is not at its peak. You are really thinking simply if you want to snatch the Bodhisattva body transformation saliva from my hands." A majestic aura suddenly surged out from old Ying Shan's body after his words sounded. Under the pressure of this majestic aura, the members of the Black Emperor sect present, with the exception of Mo Tianxing, took a couple of hurried steps back. Only then did they stabilize their bodies. "In that case, I will give it a try." A dense coldness also surfaced on the corner of Mo Tianxing's mouth. He waved his sleeves and a majestic aura that did not lose to old Ying Shan's surged out like floodwater. Two monstrous auras spread and collided within this small kernel. The spatial ripple that they created shook the coal until it began to tremble. Numerous crack lines as thick as one's arm slowly climbed to the mountain peaks. The two conflicting auras created a tense atmosphere of swords being drawn within the kernel. Just as a soul-stirring battle was about to erupt, a clear laugh suddenly resounded over the sky. "Ha ha, it is unexpected that the real show is actually here. I nearly missed it." Old Ying Shan and Mo Tianxing were slightly startled when their eyes saw Xiao Yang's group. Their expressions immediately revealed quite a great change. A moment later, Mo Tianxing finally laughed and said, "It's actually Mr. Yang Xiao. It is unexpected that even you have seen through this old demon Ying's trick." Xiao Yang vaguely smiled. His gaze gained a deeper meaning as it looked at Mo Tianxing. He laughed and said, "It is unexpected that sect leader Mo is also here. This really surprises me." Mo Tianxing's expression became somewhat unnatural when he heard Xiao Yang's words that seemed to indicate something. They were the people who held the auction. Yet, they ended up quietly attacking the customers who had bought the item. If this news were to spread, it would not be considered a good thing for the Black Emperor sect. Although the most important thing within the Black Corner region was one's strength and a sufficiently large fist, one still needed a little integrity. Otherwise, who would dare to participate in any auction that the Black Emperor sect decided to hold in the future? People would be worried that the thing they had bid for at a high price would end up being snatched by someone else after they had paid for it. As a result, not only would they fail to obtain their bids, but they might even lose their lives. Hence, Xiao Yang's current appearance caused a cold killing intent to appear in Mo Tianxing's heart. If it was not due to Mo Tianxing being afraid of the little fairy doctor beside Xiao Yang, it was likely that he would have long since launched an attack. This sect leader Mo is unwilling to part with the Bodhisattva body transformation saliva. Hence, he quietly did something to it. After which, he planned to quietly snatch it back. What a good tactic. Old Ying Shan's gaze swept over Xiao Yang's group. It paused on the white-clothed little fairy doctor. He then laughed in a strange manner. "Old demon Ying, attempting to gain the upper hand in an argument now does not benefit you." A denseness surfaced on Mo Tianxing's face as he slowly spoke. I assume that Mr. Yang Xiao has come here targeting the Bodhisattva body transformation saliva, no? Mo Tianxing asked an unnecessary question. He immediately smiled and said, why don't we do this? The both of us can join hands to deal with old Yingshan. If we obtain the Bodhisattva body transformation saliva from his hands, my Black Emperor sect will not take it. However, Mr. Yang Xiao must give us some compensation. What do you say? Compensation? Xiao Yan was startled when he heard this. He half smiled and asked, zone-breaking pill. Ha ha, it is really easy to speak to an intelligent person. Mo Tianxing smiled and asked, what does Mr. Yang Xiao think? Xiao Yang narrowed his eyes. He exchanged gazes with the little fairy doctor by the side, appearing as though he was a little interested. Don't trust this old fellow. You have wreaked his plan, and he will definitely not let you off easily. Moreover, with his greed, do you think that he would be willing to hand the Bodhisattva body transformation saliva over to you? Old Yingshan coldly laughed while Xiao Yang was in deep thought. You're noisy. Mo Tianxing's face suddenly sank. He waved his sleeve and a 10-foot large, golden-colored, dough chi shot out explosively. Immediately, it was like a golden python that hissed through the air headed toward old Yingshan. Sect leader Mo, if you really want to seek someone to cooperate with, why do you need to look for them? Isn't my Demon Flame Valley a better choice? The expressions of everyone present changed when they heard this voice. Their gazes immediately moved in an abrupt manner, and saw over 10 rays of light rushing over from the northern sky. Within a couple of blinks, they had appeared in the sky above this colonel. The person leading them was surprisingly that mysterious grey-robed person. Behind him, First Elder Fang Yang and the elders from the Demon Flame Valley were looking at the area with a cold smile in their eyes. The people from Demon Flame Valley, Xiao Yang's brows were tightly knit as he glanced at this group of people. He muttered, these fellows, how did they discover this place? Things are going to be somewhat troublesome now. Old Yingshan's expression had also become somewhat ugly, because of the appearance of the Demon Flame Valley. At this moment, the situation was worsening for him with the appearance of a greater number of experts. Being in possession of the Bodhisattva body transformation saliva, he was the target of everyone. Although he might be an elite dozong, there were at least 3 people present who were of the same class as him. It was still fine if it was 1-on-1. However, if it became 1 versus 3, he would not even know how he died. The hands of the grey-robed person gently grabbed the grey robe. He slowly pulled it apart after the laughter sounded. A face that was filled with a savage look suddenly appeared when the grey robes parted. Xiao Yang's dark black eyes abruptly shrank when the grey robe parted. It really is. You, the current Han Feng, clearly appeared a little older compared to back then. His eyes, which were glaring at Xiao Yang, was filled with a thick savageness. If not for Xiao Yang back then, he could have continued to dominate this Black Corner region. In the end, everything had completely collapsed because of Xiao Yang. Not only did he lose his greatly sought-after position, but he also ended up with a miserable fate of having his spirit parted with his physical body. If he hadn't controlled a heavenly flame like the Sea Heart Flame, nor wisely found an opportunity to gift it to a Zunja in the Hall of Souls, it was likely that he would have long since been taken by the Hall of Souls to be refined. How would he be able to live until now? However, it was fortunate that Zunja from the Hall of Souls had specifically dispatched someone to find the body of an elite dozong for Han Feng on account of him taking the initiative to deliver the heavenly flame. After which, he struck that person until his spirit scattered and allowed Han Feng to swallow and absorb the body, allowing the latter to gain possession of it. Only then did Han Feng regain his current strength. However, this was merely a method to delay time. This body could at the very most enable him to live for over a decade. After that, the physical body would automatically crack apart. His spirit could only disappear along with this rotting physical body. He would no longer have any opportunity to escape alive. Xiao Yang did not display any emotion that suggested he had forgotten himself in the face of the vicious eyes from Han Feng. After the initial surprise within his heart passed, he began to gradually calm down. His gaze faintly swept over Han Feng as he coldly laughed. It is unexpected that you, a traitor, would actually still be alive. How unexpected, this is all thanks to you, my good junior. Han Feng's gaze was vicious as he ferociously laughed. It is likely that I would have difficulty achieving this strength if not for you. This time around, I will extract your soul and let you taste what is called a fate worse than death. Xiao Yang's eyes were indifferent. He was completely unmoved by Han Feng's threat. Although he was unaware of the reason why Han Feng's strength had soared to such an extent, the current Xiao Yan was also no longer the young man who had to rely on the great increase in his strength to reach the peak of the Do Wen class. The current Xiao Yan was already a genuine 4-star Do Huang. During these few years, he had met and even exchanged blows with quite a number of elite Do Zongs. Moreover, it was not as though no elite Do Zong had fallen in his hands. Hence, Xiao Yan was not too worried about Han Feng, whose strength had soared to the Do Zong class. If they were to really engage in an all-out battle, it was not certain just who would end up dying. The interior of your body no longer has the aura of that old fellow. That's right. I had forgotten. That old fellow actually fell into the hands of the Hall of Souls. Why? Did he not have a high appraisal of you? Did he not think that you were able to protect him? Ha ha, now that I look at it, the eyesight of that old man who will not die is just as poor as it was in the past. Han Feng slyly laughed when he saw that Xiao Yang was expressionless. Bang. A jade-green flame suddenly surged from Xiao Yang's body. Its frighteningly high temperature instantly spread over the sky. The forest below began to emit a curling white smoke because of the high temperature. A moment later, it finally turned into a fierce flame that began to spread. The jade-green flame wrapped Xiao Yang within it. At this moment, Xiao Yang's expression was unusually ferocious. His dark black eyes were filled with jade-green flames. They appeared extremely frightening, just like two clusters of serene green ghost fires. A cruel killing intent pounced out onto Xiao Yang's ferocious face like a fierce prehistoric beast. Such a killing intent had never been present before. Heavenly flames, after this matter is over, I will focus on searching for the heavenly flames. Anyone who hinders me shall die. A low roar sounded within Xiao Yang's heart. He abruptly raised his head and shot his ferocious gaze toward Han Feng. His voice was filled with a stern killing intent that caused one's pores to open wide. Bastard Han Feng. If I do not personally kill you, this bastard who betrays his teacher, I, Xiao Yang, will swear that I will not continue being human. The dense voice seemed to have been emitted from the depths of hell. It carried an obsession that was difficult to erase as it lingered over the sky. It caused the expressions of those from the Demon Flame Valley and Han Feng to slightly change. The little fairy doctor and Ziyang by Xiao Yang's side were a little surprised as they looked at Xiao Yang. Ever since they were acquainted with him, they had never seen Xiao Yang's emotion become this violent. Clearly, the words of Han Feng earlier had touched the scar on Xiao Yang's heart. Junior is really bold, but we will just have to see if you have the qualification to kill me. Han Feng finally shook his head and coldly laughed a moment later. He might not have it, but I do. A cold voice slowly sounded as the little fairy doctor softly stepped forward. Her greyish-purple eyes stared emotionless at Han Feng as her somewhat pale, delicate hand was extended. There was an unusual grey energy quietly lingering on it. Han Feng immediately frowned when he heard the little fairy doctor speak. He was clearly aware of the latter's strength. Even the current him would have quite a troublesome time dealing with her. Immediately, his eyes drifted to Xiao Yang as he coldly laughed. Junior, even this senior has to respect you for your affinity with women. However, when will you be able to rely on your own strength? This act of yours has really embarrassed that old fellow's reputation. Xiao Yang's eyes were ferocious as he stared at Han Feng. A moment later, his savage face suddenly revealed a smile as he softly said, Senior, please don't use such tactics. Although you are currently neither human nor a ghost, you are after all once the Pill Emperor of the Black Corner region. Hence, please don't embarrass yourself. The eyes of old Ying Shan, within the call, also revealed a gloating expression. Such a situation was naturally the best for him. Do you really think that the three of you can deal with us? Han Feng coldly laughed. Fan Yang on his side was already an expert, who had half a foot in the Do Zone class. With the cooperation of the other few Demon Flame Valley's elders, they would even be able to fight with an elite Do Zone. Intending to agree with Han Feng, Fan Yang and the elders from the Demon Flame Valley behind all began to coldly laugh in unison. Powerful Do Chi surged to the sky. Their auras were quite frightening when they merged. If they are not sufficient, why don't you include the old me? Just as the elders from the Demon Flame Valley were acting haughty, an old laugh rolled through the sky like thunder. Immediately, a human figure rushed over and appeared in the sky of this area within a couple of breaths' time. A torrent-like majestic aura surged out and suppressed the aura of the elders from the Demon Flame Valley. Han Feng's expression immediately sank when he saw the old human figure appear in the sky. This is also all thanks to all of you. Han Feng's expression was dark and cold. His heart slightly sank. The sudden appearance of Su Qian had caught him somewhat off guard. He was clearly aware of the other party's strength. Although he was currently no longer afraid of Su Qian in a one-on-one fight, the other party also had a mysterious Dozong woman of unknown origin. If these two elite Dozongs joined hands, even the many people from the Demon Flame Valley would find it quite difficult to resist them. Moreover, the other party still had the existence of Xiao Yan. Han Feng might possess an extreme hatred from this junior of his in name, but he was also clearly aware in his heart that Xiao Yan possessed a fighting ability that far exceeded his level. Back then, when the latter was still an expert Do Wang, this fellow was able to seriously injure him, someone who had half a foot in the Do Zone class. Now Xiao Yang had advanced to a Do Huang. His fighting strength should have greatly soared. With this situation today, it was likely that his Demon Flame Valley alone would really have difficulty gaining the upper hand in this battle. If I can kill you once, I will naturally be able to kill you again. Hence, there is no need for you to act like a villain who is holding sway. Xiao Yang glanced at Han Feng and Su Qian before laughing with ridicule. Han Feng's expression once again became darker and more solemn. The fists under his sleeves creaked out loud. A dense killing intent surged out from his body. Su Qian's appearance also caused Mo Tianxing's and old Yingshan's faces to change a little. No one would dare to easily slight an elite Dozong. This was especially the case in this situation where things were clearly defined. Disappeared. Xiao Yang was startled when he heard this. His gaze immediately turned to old Yingshan. All he could hear was cold laughter before the latter's feet violently stomped on the ground. A grey-colored fountain erupted from the ground. Immediately, an invisible spiritual strength broke from it in a lightning-like manner and entered his body. As this spiritual strength returned, old Yingshan's strength quickly grew, and in a short moment, he was nearly back to his peak. Old Yingshan's transformation also attracted the attention of Han Feng, Mo Tianxing and the others. Their expressions immediately changed. From the looks of this situation, it seemed that this cunning old fellow had used the delay caused by their presence to successfully withdraw the spiritual avatar into his body. At this moment, his fighting strength would likely not be inferior to anyone present. Thanks for all of your help. Old Yingshan laughed to Xiao Yang and the others in a strange manner. His confidence became much greater with the recovery of his strength. Xiao Yang's gaze glanced at Han Feng before nodding slightly to the little fairy doctor and Su Qian. Immediately, he used a voice that only the three of them could hear as he whispered, "Be careful, these bastards are those who can swallow a person, including his bones. Do not fall for their underhanded tactics." Su Qian smiled and nodded. He said, "Little fellow, do you really think that the old me is an old stubborn man who only knows how to train? Do I need you to remind me of such a matter?" Xiao Yang smiled in embarrassment. Su Qian was able to become the first elder of the Inner Academy and enable the Inner Academy to become a peaceful ground within a chaotic place like the Black Corner region. His ability and scheming was naturally something that need not be doubted. The little fairy doctor was also not an ordinary person in being able to manage an enormous poison sect. If one were to talk about it, she was really not at all inferior to him. Old Yingshan's expression suddenly sank when he saw that Xiao Yang's group had actually agreed to Mo Tianxing's suggestion. Although he had just recovered his strength, he would definitely fall into an absolute disadvantage when facing four experts with similar strength. Moreover, he might really even end up leaving his old life in this place. Old Yingshan's feet violently stomped on the ground as these thoughts flashed through his heart. Over 10 sturdy ground fountains over 10 feet in size surged out from the coal amid a low muffled sound. A figure suddenly withdrew while these ground fountains blocked everyone's view. "Everyone, let's move." Mo Tianxing was the first to discover old Yingshan's actions just as the latter moved. He immediately let out a cold cry. After which, he strangely appeared behind old Yingshan. His sleeves shook and a dense golden light shot out from his sleeves. It immediately rushed toward the latter's throat in a lightning-like manner. In his haste, old Yingshan also began to hurriedly wave his fist to counteract the wind. Two powerful winds met in the sky and a soul-stirring explosion suddenly sounded. A violent, wild blast swept through the sky, blowing over the entire forest until it emitted a creaking sound. Old Yingshan and that human figure swiftly took 2 steps back as the wind spread. The latter revealed his body along with a face that contained a cold laugh. Who else could it be other than Han Feng? You are indeed worthy of being an old expert in the Black Corner region. Your strength is indeed extraordinary. However, it is likely that you will have a difficult time escaping from the calamity today. Han Feng stabilized his body and smiled slightly at the dark, cold face of old Yingshan. Immediately, he raised his chin to the sky. Old Yingshan's gaze was slowly shifted. He could see that the three dozongs, namely Mo Tianxing, Su Qian, and the little fairy doctor, had already surrounded and trapped him. Adding Han Feng in front of him, the four of them had completely sealed off all of old Yingshan's retreat paths. Faced with four elite dozongs, even old Yingshan could only feel a kind of helplessness. A breeze blew through the sky. However, it was unable to remove the tense atmosphere. 5 elite dozongs had appeared together. This kind of terrifying lineup was something that Xiao Yan had seen for the first time. It was likely the case for quite a number of people present. Old Yingshan's face was volatile, as he was locked onto by 4 auras. He clearly understood that it was already impossible for him to easily take away the Bodhisattva body transformation saliva with the situation today. Moreover, if he were to continue being stubborn, it was likely that he would really fall in the hands of these 4 people. The thoughts in his heart flashed as quick as lightning. A moment later, old Yingshan clenched his teeth hard. He swung his hand and an emerald-like jade box appeared in his hand. Take it and leave. The old me will remember the grudge today. This old Yingshan was a person who was really sensible. After understanding that he already had no other choice in this situation, he let out a furious cry and wildly threw the jade box in his hand into the sky. Old Yingshan's body moved the moment the jade box left his hand. He fled the encirclement. However, his body had just moved when 4 majestic attacks suddenly arrived, forcing him to quickly dodge in a miserable manner. Old fellow, do you really treat us as fools? Han Feng coldly laughed. His gaze did not even look at the jade box, which was tossed high up. From the way he saw it, it was impossible for old Yingshan to hand over the Bodhisattva body transformation saliva this easily. Mo Tianxing also adopted a similar thought as Han Feng. The little fairy doctor and Su Qian merely looked at the jade box somewhat hesitantly, but did not make any rash movements. Old Yingshan cursed furiously because of these words from Han Feng, you fools. After being absent-minded for a moment, Xiao Yan swiftly recovered and opened the jade box in a lightning-like manner. Immediately, he saw the slowly wiggling emerald-colored Bodhisattva body transformation saliva which was suspended within the jade box. It is actually real. Xiao Yan's gaze was dull as he stared at the Bodhisattva body transformation saliva. Other than old Yingshan, the faces of almost everyone stiffened. No one had expected old Yingshan to actually hand over the thing this easily given his character. However, the truth that had appeared in front of them caused the faces of quite a number of people to become fiery hot. Hey, serves you right. Now that the thing is not with the old me, I shall see just who dares to block me. Old Yingshan merely mocked with a cold laugh when he saw everyone's dull expressions. Damn it, you old fellow who will not die. That Bodhisattva body transformation saliva clearly has the seal that I had placed. Mo Tianxing was the first to recover, and he immediately cried out furiously. When old Yingshan had thrown the jade box earlier, he had used a slight Do Qi imprint to scan it. However, there was not the slightest response. It was because of this that he did not act at that moment. Unexpectedly, the jade box really did have the Bodhisattva body transformation saliva. When you mentioned that you had done something to the Bodhisattva body transformation saliva, the old me quietly removed it. Don't tell me that you expected the old me to suffer from the same loss twice. Old Yingshan curled his mouth and ridiculed. His gaze immediately took one glance around this battleground and laughed in a strange manner. Do all of you still wish to fight now that the thing is already no longer with the old me? If that is the case, the old me will accompany all of you. Everyone's gazes had basically turned to Xiao Yang in an instant after old Yingshan's words sounded. Other than the little fairy doctor and Su Qian, the remaining eyes were filled with a denseness. Xiao Yang, check it. Do not allow this old fellow to switch it with a fake. Su Qian's eyes slightly narrowed as he looked at the situation. If the Bodhisattva body transformation saliva was real, it was not impossible for them to retain it with their current advantage. If it was a fake, they would not only end up taking the blame for old Yingshan, but would also end up doing so for nothing. That would really not be worthwhile. Xiao Yang also nodded after hearing Su Qian's words. His gaze cautiously swept around him, before he swiftly checked the Bodhisattva body transformation saliva. A joy slowly surged out from deep within his eyes. Finally, he turned his head and lowered his chin to Su Qian. A denseness flashed across Xiao Yang's eyes when he saw Han Feng, Mo Tianxing, and the others approaching. He immediately laughed with a faint voice. Does sect leader Mo really plan to attack us? If you can choose to be an observer for once, Xiao Yang would definitely deliver the zone-breaking pill. What do you say? Mo Tianxing was startled when he heard Xiao Yang's words. He seemed to have become a little interested. Although there were few people in Xiao Yang's group, all of them were quite strong. Even if the Demon Flame Valley and the Black Emperor sect were to join hands, it would be quite difficult to suppress them. Sect leader Mo, don't fall for this brat's curveball. He is extremely crafty. Once they finish us off and free their hands, do you think that you can do anything to them given their 2 elite Dozong advantage? Han Feng suddenly and coldly laughed while Mo Tianxing was deep in thought. Mo Tianxing's expression changed slightly when he heard this. What Han Feng had said was indeed true. The reason why Xiao Yan was currently this afraid was that both Han Feng and himself were elite Dozongs. If they were to stand aside and simply watch Han Feng's group be defeated at this moment, his ending would also not be anywhere good. He did not believe that Xiao Yang would easily hand over a valuable medicinal pill like the zone-breaking pill given the latter's craftiness. If sect leader Mo does not trust me, Xiao Yang can hand over the medicinal pill on the spot. What do you say? Xiao Yang appeared to have understood Mo Tianxing's worry as he laughingly said. Mo Tianxing was startled. An interest surged on his face. When he was about to speak, Han Feng knit his brows tightly and his mouth moved. A soft voice that was wrapped with Do Qi was quietly transmitted into the former's ears. The suddenly transmitted voice caused Mo Tianxing to immediately shut his mouth that was about to be opened. His eyes glanced to Han Feng with joyous surprise as he asked, "Really? Let's prepare for a big battle next. If we were to really engage in an all-out fight, no one will know just who will die in the other person's hands." Xiao Yang inhaled a deep breath. A heated expression suddenly surged into his dark black eyes as he spoke with a deep voice. Su Qian, the little fairy doctor, and Zi Yang faintly nodded. Although the other side had many people, the fighting strength of their side was much stronger, he. Han Feng let out a pleased laugh when he saw that he had successfully pulled Mo Tianxing over to his side. However, he did not stop after this. His gaze turned and paused on old Ying Shan, who was remaining in the air above the col and watching the show. If he was able to pull this old fellow to his side in this kind of situation, he would be able to gain an absolute advantage. 3 elite Dozongs along with the remaining experts from 2 large factions would be sufficient to completely suppress Xiao Yang's 4-man group until they ceased to have any ability to retaliate. However, that old Ying Shan appeared to know just what Han Feng was about to say when he saw the latter looking over. He immediately let out a strange laugh and said, "You can forget about roping in the old me. It is best for me not to get involved in such a situation. If you wish to fight, you can just go all out and fight, the old me shall not accompany all of you." Old Ying Shan actually turned around after saying these words. After which, he rushed into the deep mountains in front of everyone's stunned gazes and disappeared. Han Feng immediately knit his brows intently as he watched old Ying Shan, who had simply turned around and left. He immediately let out a cold snort and cursed, "A cowardly old fellow." Su Qian and the 2 others nodded when they heard this. He said, "If we wait a little longer, the experts from Xiao Gate and the Jiunan Academy will also make it over. At that time, we will have a slightly easier time." The rushing sound of wind was suddenly transmitted from the horizon after Su Qian's voice sounded. Immediately, a large group of human figures appeared in Xiao Yang's group's line of sight. Are they finally here? Xiao Yang's group sighed in relief as they sensed the familiar aura. Although they were not afraid of the large number of people on the opposite side, there would be some trouble if they were interrupted amid an intense battle. Now that the experts on their side had rushed over, both sides could be considered to be even. They are just a useless mob. Are you still intending to rely on them? The large group of human figures flying over also attracted Han Feng's attention. He immediately let out a cold laugh as he suddenly waved his hand. A voice that was filled with a dark and cold killing intent resounded over the sky. "Sect leader Mo, and I will block the woman and Su Qian. Fang Yang, you will lead a couple of experts from the Demon Flame Valley to capture Xiao Yang. It doesn't matter whether the latter is dead or alive as long as you obtain the Bodhisattva body transformation saliva." The experts from the Demon Flame Valley and the Black Emperor sect that remained this time around were the core strength within their factions. Their individual strengths were all quite great. If one were to talk about the situation in this place, it appeared that they were a little stronger than Xiao Gate and the Jiunan Academy experts. Hence, despite having dispatched some experts to deal with Xiao Li's group, the number of experts who remained still far exceeded that of Xiao Yang's 4-people group. Moreover, all of their auras were great and drawn out. Clearly, they were the elites among the group. Few words were exchanged when the group that had gone to block Xiao Li's group collided with the latter before both parties directly erupted into a chaotic battle. Powerful Do Qi ripples that contained dark, cold killing intent created gorgeous energy fireworks low, deep explosive sounds in the sky. A cold smile surfaced on the corner of Han Feng's mouth as he watched the intense battle that had erupted in the sky. His gaze was immediately turned to Xiao Yang's four-man group as he faintly said, "This is the territory of the Black Emperor sect. It does not benefit you by dragging things out. Therefore, you should hand over the Bodhisattva body transformation saliva. This way, I might still let all of you off. Fan Yang, you will lead the second and third elders to deal with Xiao Yang. With the combination of the three of you, it is likely that you will even be able to barely fight against a Dozong. This should not be a problem, right?" Han Feng turned his head and spoke to the red-haired first elder Fan Yang with a deep voice. Fan Yang smiled when he heard this. He nodded and said, "Mister, please be reassured that the old me will definitely snatch the Bodhisattva body transformation saliva. Do not be careless. This little fellow has some extremely powerful Do skills. Back then, I suffered great losses," Han Feng frowned and reminded. Fan Yang smiled once again and nodded. He had naturally heard quite a lot of rumors about Xiao Yang. The battle result of the latter in the Black Corner region back then was something he had heard numerous times. Hence, his heart would naturally not possess much underestimation. However, if he were to join hands with two Demon Flame Valley elders, he still had some confidence in dealing with Xiao Yang. After all, the strength of those two were close to the peak of the Do Huang class. Moreover, they worked well together. With the three of them, the chances of victory against Xiao Yang, who was a mere 4-star Do Huang, should be above 60%. I and Elder Qi will deal with that purple-haired little girl. Mo Ya laughed behind Mo Tianxing. Yes. Mo Tianxing randomly nodded. He did not issue any reminders. If Mo Ya and Qi Shan joined hands, there would hardly be anyone who was a match for them in the Do Huang class. It should not be much of a problem dealing with a little girl. Although he knew that this little, purple-haired girl was somewhat strange, strange did not necessarily mean strength. "Let's attack. Don't delay any longer." Han Feng gently waved his hand and spoke with a faint voice. A cold glint flashed across the eyes of First Elder Han Feng and the two elders when they saw Su Qian and Han Feng descend into an intense battle. Immediately, their gazes turned to Xiao Yang and let out a cold laugh. The three people formed a triangular shape and slowly approached the latter. The little fairy doctor's eyes rotated upon seeing Fan Yang's action. However, before she could do anything, a human figure flashed in front of her. Mo Tianxing smiled when he appeared. "Your opponent is me. Don't get distracted because of someone else." The little fairy doctor's eyes glanced indifferently at Mo Tianxing. Her delicate small mouth was lifted into a strange arc. Threads of greyish-purple fog quietly seeped out from her clothes. Fan Yang and the two others had already surrounded Xiao Yang, while Mo Tianxing blocked the little fairy doctor. When Fan Yang saw Xiao Yang's calm manner with his arms crossed over his chest, he involuntarily laughed. "I have long heard about the impressive manner of Chief Xiao in the Black Corner region back then. Meeting you now, I can say that heroes that appear are mostly young. However, the three of us old fellows shall offend you today." Although Fan Yang's face was a friendly one, there was not the slightest smile in his eyes. Only a frigid feeling and a dense killing intent were present. Xiao Yang merely glanced at Fan Yang randomly in the face of his words. He spread his arms as he stretched his lazy waist. He clenched his fist and an enormous heavy Xian ruler flashed and appeared. Xiao Yang smiled and said, "You need not say such useless words. Simply relying on your mouth is not sufficient if you want to snatch the Bodhisattva body transformation saliva from me." Moreover, Xiao Yang's eyes suddenly became sharp as his heavy ruler quietly moved with him. It carried a hot pressurizing wind as it violently swung behind him without Xiao Yang turning his head. The second and third elders from the Demon Flame Valley immediately responded when they heard Fan Yang's cry. Their bodies immediately withdrew a short distance. After which, their hand seals quickly moved. 3 pale grayish flames suddenly curled and rose from their bodies. Immediately, the flames began to respond to one another. A moment later, they escaped from their hosts and flew out. Finally, they agglomerated together at the middle of the 3 individuals. Within a short half a minute after the 3 pale grayish colors merged, a grayish-brown, heavenly flame slowly rose to the sky. The temperature of this place suddenly rose following the appearance of the cluster of grayish-brown flame. Even the space around that flame began to show signs of some distortion. The temperature of this kind of flame seemed to be very close to the degree of a heavenly flame. Xiao Yang raised his head and studied the cluster of grayish-brown color in the flame. Surprise flashed across his eyes and he muttered with some interest, "Is this that so-called flame creation skill?" This video will end here. Thank you for watching.